What if staying connected to your singing voice doesn't always require singing? In this episode, we are exploring what actually counts as singing when you're not practicing, performing, or even making sound. If your voice feels distant right now, or you're in a slower, more reflective season, this is a gentle reminder that nothing has been lost and you're still deeply connected. Welcome to Singer-Songwriter, a space to reconnect with your voice, your music, and the songs waiting to be written. I'm Lainey, singer and songwriter, voice and creativity coach. If you've ever dreamed of writing and singing your own songs, but doubt or perfectionism keeps getting in the way, then grab that notebook full of ideas. It's time to open your voice, trust your sound, and express yourself freely. Your songs are waiting. Let's bring them to life. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is for those quieter seasons, the times when singing isn't happening the way it used to or the way you think it should. Maybe you're not practicing right now. Maybe you're not performing right now. Maybe you haven't been making much sound at all. But instead of asking, what's wrong with me? How do I get back on track? Why am I not singing? I want you to ask a different question today. And that is, what actually counts as singing in this season? Because creativity, voice, expression, these things don't disappear when the sound goes quiet. Often they're just shifting, they're just changing form. So in this episode, we will explore how to stay connected to your voice and creativity even when you're not actively singing. This isn't about fixing anything or pushing yourself back into sound, back into bold expression. It's about recognizing the many ways that your voice is already present. It's about honoring the quiet as part of the creative cycle. Before we go further, I just want to share something with you, especially if listening to this episode brings up a lot of feeling. If you are in a quiet season with your voice and part of you wants support but doesn't want to be pushed or worked on, I offer these one-on-one sessions called vocal breakthrough sessions. And it doesn't have to be about performing or fixing. It's really more of a space to slow down, to listen, and to reconnect with your voice exactly where it is right now, wherever that is for you, through breath, through sound, through presence. So if that kind of support feels right for this season, you can learn more or book a session at reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. And even if you're not quite there yet, this episode is here to support you in this quiet season and beyond. So one of the things I want to name first is that creativity, it's not just one action that you do. It's a state of being. singing, songwriting, creating in all forms, it comes from the same inner space of listening, being open, being present with what's alive in you. So when one form of creativity quiets down, it doesn't mean that creativity has left and flown away. It often just means that it's moving somewhere else for a while. It's shifting, it's changing forms. There was a time when I was in one of these quiet seasons, and it felt like it was going on forever and ever and ever. And so I was judging myself so harshly for not singing and practicing the way that I thought I should be. I made it wrong to be exploring other forms of creativity or channeling that creativity in other ways. The silence, I judged my silence. And so when I went to make sound, the judgment came through so heavily. Oh, you are so out of practice. You're so rusty. Oh, this sounds awful. Everything is stuck. But this internal criticism kept me distant from my voice. It kept me in this cycle of silence when this inner part of me really wanted to be moving forward into fuller expression. That's where I wanted to be, but there was still this judgment holding me back from that. So there's this unspoken belief many of us carry, I know I sure did, that if we're not actively singing, we're somehow disconnected from our voice or not in relationship with the music the way that we're supposed to be. But that's the word, relationship. Connection doesn't require constant output. You don't have to constantly be putting stuff out there full on expression mode all the time. That's not what connection requires. It requires relationship. You are in relationship with your voice. You are in relationship with your music. And even when you are not using your voice by singing or making music, there are ways you can stay deeply connected to your voice and your creativity and the singer, the musician in you. So that's what I really want to highlight today. I have 4 ways to stay connected to your voice, even in the quiet seasons. Even when you're not singing, performing, practicing, doing all the things you think you should be doing. This season of quiet, of silence, is just as important as those seasons of full expression and outward sound making. So here are 4 ways to stay connected to your voice in quiet seasons. Number 1, listening. Listening to music. There's so much that we soak in when we listen. Not only the language of music and how it is put together and how it flows, the rhythm and how it feels in our body. Not just that, but listening and getting inspired by artists who speak to you, artists who stir up something alive in you. There's something there for you beyond just listening and enjoying. Not to diminish that. That's everything. And there's so much you can hear within the music. Listening to good singers makes you a better singer. Listening to great songs can help you become a greater songwriter. This is part of being a musician, listening. So even if you aren't singing, listening to music can make such a great impact on your creative work. And you're also listening inwardly. So when I say listening, I mean listening to music, but I also mean listening to your inner voice. Listening to the space of silence, the quiet. Because that silence, it isn't empty. It isn't just this open void. There's so much life teeming in that space. And remember that silence is part of the music. Number 2, writing and lyrics. Writing is one of the most direct ways that we stay connected to the inner voice. It's like a direct line. So even when you're not singing, you can be journaling, lyric writing, studying the meaning and the emotion behind words. I know for me, my voice was coming through my pen during quiet seasons when I thought I was doing it wrong and judging myself for not being in the practice room for an hour every day or more, and then going to perform in the evenings and then turning around and doing it again the next day. My voice was coming through loud and clear through my pen and my journals, but I was discounting that as if it didn't count. It counts. Writing keeps you connected to your inner voice, and this is where the song lyrics come from. And you're not just doing this as a means to an end to get song lyrics out of it, but to sort through all the noise in your mind, clear it away, and open up space for what's real and what's true and what wants to be made into art. Number 3, creativity in all forms. So you can think of this as like cross-training. You're not just singing or songwriting, but you're expressing your creativity in other ways. So think dancing, cooking, sculpting, knitting, coloring, playing an instrument. There were times when I couldn't bring myself to sing. It felt too vulnerable, or I was beating myself up too much about how it sounded. But I would sit at the piano anyway. And I wouldn't open my mouth. I couldn't bring myself to do that. But I could put my fingers on the keys and give them a little weight and begin letting the music flow through me that way. That felt attainable to me. Even in darker seasons, playing piano kept me close to the music and close to myself, without forcing anything. So there are other ways to stay connected to the music inside of you, even if you're not actively singing. And even if you're not actively playing a musical instrument or doing anything musical, the creativity inside of you flows in so many different ways. You can channel it in another way that feels accessible to you in this time, in this season. So what is that for you? What other ways do you express your creativity? Finally, number 4, the fourth way to stay connected to your voice, even in quiet seasons: rest. Rest. This is part of the music too, right? Those moments of rest in the music. As a singer, I think about rest in the sense that every rest is an opportunity to breathe. And every breath is an opportunity to begin again, to reset, realign, to ground yourself once more, and to start fresh. The rest is just as important as the notes, the sound. The silence gives us space to breathe. The quiet seasons, they deepen our roots before we grow taller and wider. They give us something to sink into and be held. The quiet isn't a failure. This is the space where that next song, that next sound, that next expression is forming. So don't judge yourself for the silence or the quiet. It's part of the creative process. The rest is part of the music. And vocal rest is a real thing. Your voice needs time to rest. But there's also creative rest. Resting the human behind the artist, the human being in there. The creator, the mother, the father, the singer, the songwriter, the creative being also needs rest. This rest is nourishment. So if you are in a place where it feels supportive and possible, I just want to invite a moment of listening. A moment to notice your breath. Notice your body. Notice other external sounds happening around you. And turn within. Now, if your voice wants to emerge through a tone, a hum, a sigh, let it. If it wants to join in with the external sounds, let it. if it wants to tune out everything around and be with that internal rest, let it. But only if it feels natural. And if no sound comes at all, you are still participating. Silence is welcome here. If you're in a quiet season with your voice, I hope this episode reminds you that connection has not disappeared. You're not doing it wrong. There's nothing to judge. Singing is a relationship. It's one that shifts and rests and returns in its own time. Wherever you are right now is okay. Your relationship with your voice is yours. And there are many ways to nourish it, even when you're not singing. So again, if you would like gentle, one-on-one support during this season, my vocal breakthrough sessions are here for you. This is a space to listen, to reconnect, to meet your voice with kindness. You can find all the details at reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. And I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring the quiet. What I struggled to do for so long, I struggled to see that the quiet season, the silence, is so important to the music. It's part of the creative process. So just let out and exhale and know that you are right where you need to be. Until we meet again, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, filled with joyful, boisterous laughter, and also moments of quiet and calm and silence. Thanks for listening, friend. If this episode moved you or inspired you in some way, would you please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or share this episode with someone who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough? Until next time, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.